What's our first question?
Oh my goodness.
Hello and welcome to the Friday Drink. I'm your host Tim.
I'm your host Ruth.
It's been a long week, so grab something cold from the fridge because we've got a special edition for you guys today. We've got a friend here. Hi Ben, how's it going?
We're here at Beiersal Brewery Beiersal Beer Hall?
Oh, go
Brewery and Beer Hall.
Yeah, we got it.
In Seaford, in Melbourne, or near Melbourne, and we've talked so much about these guys on our channel. We've reviewed a few of their beers, and now we're actually here, which is so exciting.
It's beautiful. The lighting's great. It's a beautiful day. And yeah, we're just talking to Ben. So Ben here is the head brewer. Yeah, we're just here to figure out how it all works. When did you first have the idea for Beiersal Brewery?
Well, I can't entirely claim credit for that. My dad sort of pushed me into it, I think. I was working at...
My dad pushes me around too.
Not in a bad way. No, I was brewing, doing a few other things. I worked at Boat Rocker for a little bit. I worked at Public Brewing Croydon for a bit before that. And I'd been brewing for a few years, always wanting to get into a career in brewing. And my dad's coming up to retirement and decided that he was going to... encouraged me into going into brewing by opening a brewery himself. First, I was a bit apprehensive about doing it because to be a brewer, or to set up a brewery rather, you have to sort of be part engineer, part plumber, part actual brewer.
Wear all the hats.
So my dad, being a banker, had all the financial stuff behind him, which was very helpful.
Oh, that's good to know.
That's handy.
Yeah.
In terms of setting up the equipment, it was a bit of a trial and error process. I mean, we sort of had to order it, not entirely bespoke, but from China. We had to get the equipment, and I had to basically design a system without having the technical know-how how to do it. So a lot of what I did was basically a fusion of my homebrew system and the stuff I'd seen at other breweries.
Yeah.
I mean, sounds like you've got loads of experience behind you. I mean, working in multiple places, naturally go on to make your own stuff, get the vat out of the garage and into this lovely building,
Yeah, look, a lot of homebrew experience, I would say, for the most part, when it comes to brewing my type of beers. My experience in other breweries wasn't so much on the creative side, it was more on the actual
production,
guts and production.
Yeah.
Which is good information to know because that's the sort of experience I wouldn't get at home.
Yeah.
Whereas setting up my equipment, it's like my homebrew setup writ large. There's 500 litres instead of 50 litres, and it's all designed to be manual as anything, so it's all turn-in levers and very little electronic controls on it.
Great.
Turning on coils and stuff.
Oh, fantastic.
That's
that sounds so
amazing.
old school. I love
sounds
it.
great. I love it. Which is your favourite beer that you guys brew here?
I always
Personal
ask that.
favourite.
Personal favourite.
Look, they're all my babies, and as to what I like the most...
You're not supposed to show that much favouritism, but we all do.
The beer I probably drink the most of really is the lager.
Yeah, I like
and
the
that's
lager.
the one I am most proud of. I mean, all our beers are evolving as we go along. So sometimes I'm like, I'll make a beer and I'm like, next batch I want it to be a little bit more malty and stuff. And I think I like lager because it's such an elegant style of beer. There's nothing to hide behind, and you can just really play with subtlety a bit more than you can do with some other stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
I'm
so good.
a lager girl myself.
A lager lady.
A lager lady.
So what is it that separates you guys here at Beiersal from other breweries, in your humble opinion?
Tricky question.
Tricky question.
I'd say it's probably our focus because we are a venue and we're all focused on selling beer just over the counter and from the brewery itself. That gives us a bit of scope, not have to chase the trends as much and stuff. We don't have to stand out on some bottle shop shelf or anything like that. I can brew small batches of whatever I want, and I'm using the opportunity basically to do a lot of like German and English styles that I can't find at many breweries around here. I find most of the Australian craft brew scene is American inspired,
Yes.
which is cool, but there's a lot of it around.
Yeah.
And I like to drink some of the beers I had in Europe.
Yeah.
And also I'm a history geek, and there's a lot of old style beers that don't get brewed these days, and I think there's an opportunity for some of them to return. I've got, in the makings at the moment, I've got a Coit which is a Dutch style beer.
Spoilers for the future.
We'll see how I go next week. It's a complicated mash, but
sounds like you got like it's as much of a brewery as a lab, your personal laboratory, you know?
Oh, yeah, that might be a bit generous. Maybe more like a kitchen.
Sure.
We experiment a bit and that sort of thing. I think my ethos when it comes to brewing is to make beers that you can drink a fair bit of, rather than beers that have a very long ingredients list.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just, you can do some really cool things with ingredients lists this long, but I find usually you get to some point where something gets a bit too muddled and you're only tasting one predominant flavour anyway. I think another thing that we do is we keep them very basic. We have a sort of modularity with our beers. We aren't shy about mixing our beers here. We have our Gose and we mix that with gin, or I mix it with the hef, and that's my half and half that I usually drink while I'm working.
Or like we tried the other week, the CHAPPY, that was our...
And the Gose,
And the Gose was our like unanimous 5 out of 5 tinnies. That was so good.
We loved that. Who would have thought of mixing two beers together?
You know,
it's
I
great.
can't make the CHAPPY until February next year.
I know. I was told. I'm a little bit sad.
One of our
faves,
but that's
I'm
okay.
a patient man.
That's what happens when you brew with two popular hops. So
Yeah.
you run out. I have to wait till they grow some more.
So true.
Oh, well, you know.
I've got one more sort of question, general talking point. Tim and I would really like and we've talked about this on our channel, the fact that you can get your bottle filled up from the tap and take it home and then wash it out and then bring it back, and you have a bit of a discount. And I mean, how did you come up with that idea, decide that's what you were doing? Was it like a sustainability thing?
Oh, look, the process was more organic than that. I mean, we originally got a very small canning machine and that didn't work out. But I think I was always more inclined, knowing that we were a venue, first and foremost, and our volumes are smaller. I didn't think there was much advantage to getting into the wholesale market or packaging stuff. So if not, why would we invest all this money into canning stuff if we're just selling it over our own bar? There's a lot of wastage involved in that, and then there's the packaging costs and stuff like that. We found a good compromise. I think originally starting off with the bottles was kind of like an interim measure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look at these.
Yeah, it was kind of like an interim measure while we were figuring out what we were doing. It just worked. I mean, people seem to like it, like they come in here. I mean, it's not an unusual thing. When I was in Bamberg in Germany, they have the breweries down there, and they have like a window at the front, and you can just bring in a container from home and fill it up with beer and bring it home.
That's amazing.
I think that's cool. I mean, it's not
Land of the
wasting a lot of stuff. It works for us.
That's great.
Oh, this is so exciting.
This is great.
This is good stuff.
I think we should maybe taste some beers.
Let's go in for the pour.
I'm here with Eden. Eden works here. Eden, what is your role at Beiersal?
I'm one of the assistant brewers and one of the bartenders.
Fantastic. So, I mean, what does it, when you're brewing the beer, what does that kind of look like?
It looks like brewing beer. You know, there's a mash, there's a boil, there's a keg. It's a long process.
I don't actually know that much about the actual process. It's always interesting to to hear about it.
It's a fun time, you know, 6 to 8 hours covered in beer. It's a fun time.
Yep, I can imagine. What are some of your favourite beers here?
My favourite beers are probably the ESB. It's an English style. It's a good solid beer that tastes like beer. Love
that.
It. It gives me energy. I also love the Gose, especially in summer. It's so refreshing. Again, gives me energy.
Perfect. So we're tasting some beers today.
We are.
What have we got here?
So I've poured for us our lager, our De First lager, which is German for the Prince.
It's very princely looking.
That's our lager. It's a Vienna style. And our ESB, which is an English special bitter, Happy Chappy.
I love that too. That's such a cute name.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, shall we try the lager first?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as always, we do a little look at the colour, and it's the colour of a lager. It's really nice.
Indeed,
it's nice and light. Cheers. We always cheers before we taste. All right. I love this lager.
That brings joy.
It does. It sparks joy.
It does.
It does. I don't know what it is, but I think maybe it's the maltiness of it. I think last time we were here and I had this, I was like, oh, it tastes like biscuits. I'm not sure if that's like a real thing, but
it is. It's a very common descriptor of maltiness in beer. Is biscuity.
There you go. I was on the right track. I know what I'm talking about. This one, I'd say this is one of my favourites, but you're saying that this one is one of yours. So can you tell us a little bit about it, I guess, about like the flavours in it, that sort of thing?
It's an English style, so it's not overly hoppy, it's more malt based.
Yeah, that's okay. You're doing really well. Do we want to do a taste?
Yes.
Cheers?
Cheers.
So it's the Happy Chappy. Yeah, that's really good too. I'm just going to say they're all really good.
Honestly, same.
Yeah, it is malty, but it's different to the first one, hey?
It's still like sharp enough to be a refreshing sort of daytime beer.
Yeah.
I like maltier styles of beers, I think.
Me too.
It's what I grew up on. I think it's just because my dad likes maltier beers and he's the one that got me into liking beers. Yeah. As dads do.
Yep. My dad likes VB, so.
Fair enough. I love the beer here.
Yeah.
I love working here. It's a really great environment. I love my co-workers.
Ben's standing over there like.
I couldn't ask for a better place to work or people to work with.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Eden.
Tasting time with the boys. What have we got here, Ben?
Well, we've got the Gose, which is a salt and coriander infused sour beer. It's only 3.5%, very light.
Yep.
Very refreshing. It's like Gatorade beer, basically.
Gatorade beer.
Call it.
Quote that. That's great.
We like to mix it with lots of things, actually, because it makes a great working beer. Well, when I say working beer, beer we have when we're working, clearing up or whatever. One way we like to have it is with the Spirited Lot gin. And
that Spirited Lot, big shout out. We'll tag you guys in and give you guys a visit.
Yes, definitely worthwhile. We found, not just with the Gose, but when we had the Berliner on, it mixes very well. The sourness, it's almost like a gin and tonic, I suppose, but with beer in it, which makes it better. So it lets the flavours meld together. They come out together really well. So I thought what I'll do is I'll pour us a sample each of the gin. We'll try that, and then we'll pour it in the beer. You guys have had the Gose before?
We have. We are big fans of the Gose. So yeah, absolutely. Let's get this show on the road. It's a good thing we like gin too. That Spirited Lot, you guys watch out, coming your way.
Pretty big pause. This is not.
That's all right.
Just because we need to see it in the glass.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hold this up. Yep, lovely clarity to that. Oof. There we go. All right, cheers. Cheers. Let's have it. You know what? I think that's actually a little bit sweet. I'm getting a little bit of sweet notes compared to, say, like a Gordon's or a Bombay Sapphire. So,
it's a Hawker's Market gin.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I call it like a green curry gin, but they put a lot of the lime leaf and stuff in there.
Oh, this is very exciting.
But it goes really well with the beer.
All right, should we go gin into the beer?
Yes.
Ooh. I definitely feel like a chemist, or I'm doing a Jaeger bomb. All right, give it a bit of a mix in. Oh, that's a good smell. Wow. Now I know what you mean by it's like a gin and tonic, but with beer.
Yeah.
It's very similar. It's like the gin doesn't overpower the flavour of the beer, but I'd say that they mix pretty well. It's
probably a pretty strong one. We'll probably put more gin in there, a more gin ratio to beer than we usually do. But
that's how I make my G&Ts at home, so that's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
You make it to taste.
Exactly, that's right.
When people come in here and they like, oh, can you mix it up for us? And I'm like, you're better off doing it yourself. Go get yourself a bottle of gin.
Everyone's different. Everyone's different. That's right. Oh, this is great. Yeah, it's refreshing. I've got the words Gatorade beer in my head now. It's versatile, it's working. I'm loving there's like this mysterious cloudy colour to it. It's like, you don't know what's in this until you have a go.
Nothing, everything completely benign, I assure you.
But that's a good tasting benign, I tell you what. I'm gonna put this down for a second. Now, what's this lovely chocolatey thing right over here?
This is CHOCKIES, our chocolate milk stout. Got lactose in it, which is not so great for people who are lactose intolerant, of course.
That's all right, I'm not lactose intolerant.
But it gives it like a sort of creaminess because the lactose doesn't ferment out.
Yeah.
So the sugars stay in there.
Yep.
And it gives you that really sort of creamy, it's a dessert beer. I mean, we mix it with whiskey sometimes, once again.
There we go. I'll keep that in mind for next time. Yeah, should we cheers this one?
Cheers.
Now, I know exactly what you meant. Creaminess comes straight through. Yeah, I would say dessert beer is pretty apt. I mean, I'd never really heard that before. I've heard of dessert wines, dessert digestives, and you know, all that lovely things. But dessert beer, this is, I would classify this as that. Yeah, this is fantastic.
It's not the ideal summer beer, though. We've had some psychopaths who come here and drink it on a 40-degree day. But
Yeah, no, thank you.
I kind of think of like Anchorman, you know.
It wasn't me, it wasn't me, I promise. No, but I can almost like imagine that, you know, you kind of finished your dinner and maybe you're still a bit hungry, but you're like, I should eat something before I go to bed. So you know what, you pour yourself one of these and I would say it's as good as a chocolate pudding.
Oh, look, I'm really want to try a stout float with it. I haven't done this yet, surprisingly, but a scoop of ice cream, vanilla ice cream or something on the top.
Yeah, all right.
I was thinking about doing.
Now we're talking exorbitant, I tell you what.
It might be something I do this summer, I don't know. I think it would
Not on a 40-degree day.
Some people swear by it, but it's a heavy one for a big day like that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, luckily it's nice and regular temperature here in early December, so yeah, this is great. I'm really loving the yeah, you've got this sort of creamy edges, and it kind of reminds me if you ever make a milkshake and you put an egg in it and you blend it all up, it gives it that extra dimension. That's what I'm imagining the kind of lactose is doing with this. So if you are lactose tolerant, give this one a go. Thanks for watching our tasting.
Thank you so much for watching this very special episode of The Friday Drink. Thank you so much, Ben and Eden. Thank you, Beiersal, for letting us come in and invade your space. Any final words for us, Ben?
Oh, hope to see some people down here. That'd be great. I say hello to people and have a beer.
What about you,
absolutely.
Eden?
Thanks for coming. Thanks for saying nice things about us.
So good, so good.
Please like, subscribe, come on down to Beiersal. It's lots of fun. And as we say at the end of every episode of The Friday Drink, Happy Friday!
Wave at the camera. Wave at the camera. Yes.